Hello, everybody. My name is Tucker, and welcome back to our Russian Fishing 4 float fishing character. You may notice one thing different. I did actually buy a second bottom rod between episodes here, and we'll get into that here in a second. The reasoning why and things like that. But the other thing you'll notice is I'm fishing for bream, and I actually have ground bait on here. So this is probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode today. It's actually a little bit late. I just logged into YouTube to upload what I recorded earlier and realized that all I had done earlier is grind up ground bait and didn't actually record anything worthwhile. So I did buy the second bottom rod. We're still going to be doing mainly float fishing. There's just times it makes sense to have a second basic bottom rod. And this exact reason is one of them. So I did buy that, and I did grind up ground bait. I'll show you what all that entailed and why I'm saying this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. Tomorrow I'll have plenty of time to record a longer episode. It is a U.S. holiday for Veterans Day tomorrow. I know a lot of Europe celebrates it as Armistice Day, or the end of World War One. So we'll get into. I'll get a longer episode tomorrow, but a little bit tired. It's almost 9 o'clock tonight already, and it's been a weird day. It was in the 70s earlier, and now it's 40s and raining. Probably actually 30s and raining. So, so we did make Bream ground bait. I made 10 sets of that. And then all of these that you see that say crackers are what I made. So I basically bought a bunch of ground crackers from the store. I don't know if I have any left over. I don't. So I bought a bunch of ground crackers and then went to ground bait, and just put the base as ground crackers and made that over and 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 over again. So all of that bait is basically worthless. There's nothing this is going to be good for. So what you can do is in your inventory, and you need to be a little careful. If you press this blue button, you can then select your ground bait, and then you can throw it away. This will throw away that one cracker's ground bait. You can click this, and it'll select everything in your inventory. Don't do that. Don't be stupid and delete your whole inventory. This one here will unselect everything. This one here selects all. So click the blue button. You can click one and then scroll down to the end of the crackers. And again, this shows you how much I had to go through. I bought, I think, 300 sets of crackers to do it. Cost about 85 silver. It wasn't too bad. But shift click the last one, delete, and it'll say, do you want to throw out these 137 items? So I made 137 of them. Successfully. I failed on 3. And now, here's all the bream ground baits that we've got left over. And I think I made some more crucian gibble as well, too. So I did buy another bottom rod here. I have not upgraded the reel capacity on it. So rod 3, the one that's in my hand right now, actually has the same reel, but a stronger friction brake on it. Long term, I may do that, but I just didn't have the time to sit here for 24 hours in game and let that happen. So this might be a common carp. This might be a bream. I'm not sure. It's a good bream. We are back in the same spot we've been fishing the past couple days. Good 2.3 kilo bream. And the bream are active early today, especially with the rain and the cold. I'm not surprised, both in game and in real life. I haven't seen anything bite the bottom or the float rod yet, but I do have the bolognese rod out fishing for bream as well. Probably our next purchase is going to be the longer net, I think. We might even be able to afford it right now, but one difference also on the new bottom rod is it does not have a leader. I couldn't find one in stock that made sense, so I didn't buy one. I've always, the way I tend to fish is have one rod that is active, the one rod that requires me to do something, in this case, the bolo rod, and then two rods that are float fishing or that are basically set up to auto hook, so the two feeder rods. That's always been the way I like to play the game. Everyone has their own style. Some people like the completely auto hook method of having three feeder rods. That works well, especially for carp fishing and things like that. But I kind of like having I occasionally have to do something to actually catch the fish as well. Kind of like this rod. So that's kind of my plan is, especially when you're on rivers, having nice fish there. Having this rod that we can just let float and keep in our hands, and we can see the float camera, and then these two fishing for additional silver just makes sense for me. And it was only 150 silver, so it wasn't super expensive to get a reasonable rod. We're hooking some good fish today, and it's just now getting to bream time. I did not look at the cafe or anything like that. Again, this is going to be probably just bream fishing the night. Another 2 kilo fish. Nice fish. This one's probably just going to be bream fishing tonight, and then I got to wrap it up. I'm tired. Got a headache with the weather changing. My knee is bothering me. I've got tendonitis from a grade school injury, and my knee is not happy with the changing weather. I'm going to keep doing that. Since I moved the bolo rod over to rod 1, I'm used to pressing rod 2 for it. Another decent fish here. Smack myself in the face with a 2 kilo bream. .7 kilo bream. This rod could be a little scary with bream or with common carp if they're bigger, because it only has, I think it's a 3.8 kilo reel. I actually didn't look at the line that's on it either. I didn't think about that. It's got 4.8 kilo line and 3.8 kilo drag. We can turn, we shouldn't have to worry about turning the friction brake all the way up on as far as the line goes. But the line is stronger than the reel, so if we get spooled, it's possible that the fish breaks the reel instead of the line. Unlikely because you can upgrade the friction brake to above what the line is. So I'm not as worried about that. It's a possibility to keep in mind. Weather changes and not doing good things to my voice today either. Nice 10 fish already today, only one non-marker. That was before prime time, Bream time. Yeah, that 4.6 kilo carp that just got caught would be not fun on the middle rod. What do I have on this one? 5.4 on this one. Oh yeah, I remember getting that now so that I could do an ultralight or a light reel if I wanted to. Light rod, not reel. Bought the reel so that it would support a light rod. The reason I say that is that gives you extra bonus experience points if you use a light reel or an ultralight reel and rod combo. You just have the reel. It's just a reel. I'll show you what I mean on that here in a second. We actually have a light reel and rod combo for our spinning setup that the game gives you. Nice 1.8 kilo Bream there. I don't know, I may have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to do it this way. So if you look at this rod, it's got a bonus 50% to XP. That's what I'm talking about. Usually they are blue like that, so that you know they're your ultralight setup or light setup. Light's usually 50%, ultralight's usually 100% bonus to XP. But they're also usually more expensive, and there's also a separate records category for ultralight. I just saw the announcer, the Russian Fishing 4 administrator. I thought there was going to be a downtime again. There was a patch a couple days ago that really didn't do anything that mattered for what we do. But no, they're doing a discount on premium and gold coins. Which that's not a bad discount. 25%'s not bad if you do want to support the devs. On my main account, I've done that in the past. Although I honestly don't play much on my main account right now. 2 hours a day recording for YouTube is enough. Nice 1.1 kilo Bream. Nope. It's trying to get. There was a bite going on the bowler rod, and I was trying to get it. This is going to be a good fish. 3 kilo Bream. 1,000 experience. Oh yeah, speaking of experience points, I did also put the uh, point we got into making ground bait. So we now have 2. Usually 3 is about all you need to put in there. So the point that we got for leveling up to 16 went. That just really improves the quality of the ground bait that you make. Which means it lasts longer, may attract more fish. That 1.3 kilo Bream to the face. Honestly, bite rate's not too bad. 16 fish and I think it's 16 and a half minutes. It's either 16 and a half or 18 and a half. Number's too small for me to read up on my. I use a TV for a secondary monitor. The number on OBS is just too small to see if it's 16 and a half or 18 and a half minute. Another good fish here. Kilo and a half. Oh, this is pulling drag. It's a good fish. Either a big bream or a common carp. Both of which are possible. It is a big bream. I'm actually going to step over here away from this rock. Ooh, Leo. That's why you don't oversize your equipment. That rod is now toast. 2.6 kilo Bream. I expected bigger than that. How much drag it was pulling. Yeah. What Leo did there is his line capacity was higher than his rod capacity, most likely. And while pulling a fish in, it broke his rod instead of his line. And unlike a broken mechanism on a reel, your rod breaks, you're done. That rod is toast. You have to buy a new one. So typically, you want your leader to be the weakest part of your setup. Then, typically, I like to have my line as my second weakest. Then my rod. 2.7 kilo, or sorry, then my reel, then my rod. I want my rod to be the strongest part of my setup. 2.7 kilo Bream. Nice. That way, the reason why you want that is that way, if something breaks, it's just your leader, so it's just this 25 centimeter piece and your hook. You don't lose your cage, your weight, your part of your line, that type of thing. "19 fish in 20.5 minutes, not bad." I'll go to probably about 10 a.m. in game here. Then we'll call it a little bit early tonight. And again, I apologize on that, but I'll make sure to get a full episode in tomorrow. Full day of fishing. All right. It honestly didn't take too long earlier. It was probably about 15. So for me, it's been the typical hour, but you don't want to watch me like, okay, 127 times or whatever that was. And it was probably 300 if I remember correctly. I probably had a number of them that grouped up that were the same quality. For as often as I see this spot on VK with "I got 2 trophies" or "I got 3 trophies overnight," hardly ever see a trophy in chat. It's interesting. This is blown too far over. I want it to be closer to that evergreen tree, and it was way over here. That's better. Yeah, not amazing, but still probably a marker. Probably around a kilo. Pretty dang close. 1.03. You can put a different bell on each rod if you want to, so you know which one's making noise. Usually I stand where I've got one on my left, one on my right. That way I can hear which one is ringing, or you just look at it. There might be a small fish on rod 3 right now. Not sure. And non-marker there. Not a fish on here. There is now. Wondering why the line wasn't tightening up. It's because there's a fish on it. 1.2 kilo. Got a little bit more bottom fishing points. Slowed down a little bit, but it's possible. A lot of times for me, the 7 to 9 a.m. periods very active. I did go back to Winding and Mosquito to buy the ground bait stuff because it was cheaper. Do that there. I saved enough to warrant coming back and especially buying the bottom rod. Just on the bottom rod alone, I saved enough. Oh, Dark Havoc just missed a trophy, I think. Pretty sure trophy's at 4 kilos. 3.989. Pulled one. Pulled a couple too many scales off pulling it in. Pretty good one. 1.9. I get a little bit more over where I want it to be. The bail up so I can set the rod down and pick it up without moving it. When I say open the bail, it's basically that black line that you see next to the float. See if I can see it easier on this. There it is. So just to the left of my right hand, kind of between my hands, that's the bail, and you flip it up and down in real life. Lock and unlock. So you unlock it, you cast it, and you lock it in place. On the bolo rod, I leave it unlocked because I want the float to stay in a spot. And that way I can pick the rod up and I won't lift the float out of the water just picking the rod up. Because if I lock the bail, if I lock the reel and I pick the rod up, there's 8 meters of distance. I just missed this fish. You know, there's lifting the rod up, you know, a meter or two to be in my hands. That would potentially move the float a meter or two higher up in the. Isn't what you want to do if there's not already a fish on. Nice. Lost just got a nice global weekly ultralight and normal railing record. A little bit longer here. Bite rate slowing down as much as it has. I don't know. I want to go to 10 o'clock. That's usually when Bream time ends, and I'm still seeing some decent Bream in chat. Gotcha. $1.5 kilo Bream. $1 kilo Bream. There's where I had the rod lifted up and you saw the circles around the float because I had everything locked in place. So when I lifted rod up, float up. That's a tiny fish. You can press K as in kilo Appa to unlock the reel when it's sitting down. So that's what I did there to pick it up. Been a good day. 17,000 experience points. 26 fish. 32 minutes. And basically 33 minutes. And honestly, 2 or 3 hours in game of that was before peak time. I just hooked into a fish and figured I should start recording. Actually going to throw in the rods and go step away for a second, even. It was that early. But almost immediately had the right. Got about an hour in game left before I'll probably call it here. Still seeing a few Breams in chat, so not ready to say we're done yet. But we're rapidly approaching that time. Still a marker. Like it. I missed it. It's like the rain's starting to lighten up too, so I think that's going to be where we call it for the day. 27 fish in 35 minutes. Not a bad day. If you prefer the shorter episodes, let me know. I've got no problem shortening things up a little bit. Would mean obviously progression goes a little slower if we do that, but and our next steps there, level 18, so we still have a ways to go before we'll get there. Our 27 fish. I'm going to say we're over 100, probably 100, 110 silver for the day. So we basically paid off the second bottom rod. That was 150. 123.73, not bad. We go to the cafe. We did get this one. 1, 2, 3 small bream for 40. I did not know that was there, so that was a nice surprise. So we were 127, I think, before, now 113. So 153 silver. We paid for the bottom rod, or we paid for grinding up to bream bait in 35 minutes today. So we were around 400 silver, I think, before we started. So when I finished last episode, I mean, not a bad day, not a bad night, really, not even a bad day. So appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back again tomorrow. Have a good one. Good tight lines, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye now.